Hello fellow shapers. It's a bit of a brisk morning, very clear and the sun's shining, just not really feeling that warmth, but I am feeling that wind. But that said, we're going to carry on with our tree identification series, and this week it's the goat willow. So we're coming into, well, heading towards March now. It's late February, 26th to be exact. And if you look up there with the sun shining on them, you'll see lots and lots of little white fluffy balls from this distance. There isn't any low down at the moment. They will come a little bit later on. I might be able to show you up close over there maybe, but they're the catkins, and that would make this a male tree, because the female catkins come on a little bit later on and they are very different in appearance. As the catkins grow, they then propagate the female varieties, the spiky, not so furry ones. Then the female species will then actually create seed pods. The seed pods are very furry. I don't know if you can make that buzzard out up there, but the seed pods are very furry, and they kind of scatter to the winds and will lay almost like a snow effect on the ground once they've dispersed their seeds. This fluff stuff is actually a great fire starting source, much like cotton wool or something like that, but perhaps even more combustible. I have actually done a video before where I've set light to the fluff, and it is a very good fire starter. Unlike all the other willows, the goat willow is quite happy to grow without so much water. Willow is often a good source for finding water underground. If there's willow, then you're guaranteed there'll be water. This species though, the goat willow, is actually not the case. So it spreads out a little bit more than your normal willow would. The main thing is with the bark, it's that diamond pattern. So they're the key things to look out for. I'm trying to find a young one here, and we've got a younger one. So if we just move across here, yeah, these two here are goat willow, or this actual little patch here, because they quite happily grow together in and can be coppiced even into little bushes. So in the younger bark, it's got those diamond shapes which I was referring to, and you can still make them out even on the younger branches. Goat willow does have some handy properties, one of which is on the young growth. You can actually chew on the ends of the twigs, and it acts exactly as an aspirin would. It'll have a bit of a nasty taste, but it'll be a cure for a headache possibly. I was never a big fan of aspirin personally, but it is it's an option. So if we move on to the leaf, we are basically talking, it's twice its width in length, so 2 times that. You see that isn't too far out, so that's a good indication as to the size of the leaf. It will be ovular, and also the end will always look like someone's crimped it, squeezed it like that sort of thing. It's alternate structure on the back. With the stems, it's alternate, and unfortunately that's as much as I can show you about the leaf, really. Incidentally, if you look on the ground around the trees and whatnot, you get so much of an idea of what's going on as well. Here is a previous tree that I've told you how to spot. Lucky enough to find one of these to give you a good shot of, but that's spruce, the Sitka spruce tree, and that's the size of the cones. The Norway spruce would be considerably larger, so that's a way of telling that. Anyway, we're not here about those, but also on a side note, there is a little alder cone. They really do hang on. Look, this is still on its branch, and we are now February and nearly March, and that's still not letting go of that cone. A great indication for, again, a tree that I've shown you how to identify, the alder. Quick scan around, just looking behind me, and you can see the alder right there. In fact, it's nearly all alder around that way, and there you can see the Sitka spruce with its distinctive branch pattern, really, and the scaly bark. So this is a great little area, really, because it is actually covered. A few of my trees, because there's the ash over there. Tell by its colour more than anything, I think. And yeah, also the goat willow is here. So this is a very diverse little patch around this way. We've even got some snowdrops over the back there, and daffodils. And just over there I can spot something that's quite distinctive. It's actually a lily. It's the cuckoo point. Now, I'm not going to get too friendly with this one, because it's not really a very friendly plant. If you look at the close up so you know what you're looking at. But this is actually a toxic plant. These little crystals, they're called oxalates or something, but they're little needle shaped crystals, and as soon as you put that into any soft tissue area, they will pierce and infect and cause lots of little problems, really, including breathing difficulties. They're so poisonous that a lot of animals can't eat them either, like horses, cats, dogs. So you have to be a bit wary with these things if you see them in your garden. Not advisable. Thankfully, the effect, if you was to put that in your mouth, is nearly instant, and so children don't really consume enough of this to be too harmful, because they kind of realise immediately that this is not meant to be put in the mouth. So, never know what you come across. So, as you might imagine, there's quite a lot of mythology and stories behind it, but I shall just concentrate on just a few, really. I always like the Greek mythology. It's just interesting. It's a little bit imaginative, but it's interesting. So, apparently the goat Willow was used by a witch stroke nurse who was the servant of Zeus. So Zeus had a nurse, and she would make, I guess, potions, wands, something witchcrafty to heal Zeus with, which is a fair comment. Also, the aspirin side of it was in 1896, I believe, by a Felix Hoffman. But if you think that it was being used to heal Zeus in Greek mythology, that's quite a long time before 1896. And I think that they knew the benefits of this wood. By chewing a little bit of the wood, it could relieve some pain in the form of aspirin. So I think that's debatable who discovered aspirin, to be fair. He puts his name onto it, but yeah, he was a German chap. Quite an interesting story if you want to follow him up. But yeah, Hoffman. Mr. Hoffman. So then, yeah, back to the Greek mythology. There was also Orpheus, who carried branches of this goat willow to take with him on his journeys into the underworld. Well, they were called adventures, really. Adventures in the underworld. Quite interesting. There's room for a movie there. I'm not sure that swinging a bit of wood around has the same effect, but, you know, journey through the underworld and everything. Yeah. So, again, it's to ward off evil. Another tradition was to put some goat willow over your door, outside your door, and that's quite common amongst cultures, to ward off evils. And that'll just about do, I think, for the goat willow stroke pussy willow. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. It is part of an ongoing playlist. You can find that playlist in my channel. This was the fourth, fifth tree of what will be a complete series trying to cover all of the trees in UK mainland. I'm willing to journey out for some of them if I need be, but I want it to be as definitive as possible. So, definitive meaning it's open to discussion. I'd like your feedback in the comments, any additional information you might have about these trees, all welcome. And hopefully we can grow our knowledge together about trees, which where would we be without them? Thanks for watching, guys.